Hey there, rising stars. Today we're diving into a huge secret for every audition, and that is breaking down your sides to create a powerful arc, which I assure you every casting director is looking for and will help you get booked. So don't forget to click the link in the description below if you want to work with me one-on-one coaching, and please do subscribe. Firstly, get acquainted with the sides, and I don't just mean your dialogue. Read all the actions so you don't miss out on what's happening in the scene. The action is very important as it tells us the story. What is happening? What is the beginning, middle, end, and the event of the scene? Let me give you a clue. The event is almost always at the end. Otherwise, you don't have anywhere to go in your audition. Meaning, if you start with the event, then what happens in the scene? Now, if you have a scene that starts mid-action, that's fine. Just know the event hasn't happened yet. The scene must start in a place where it can go. So if that means adding a beat before an action, do it. So what is important in the sides is the arc, meaning the beginning, middle, end, and event of the scene. The frame picture should start at one way at the top of the scene and end in another way at the end. Here's a very simple example. I start the scene off with a laugh and sip of my water. And by the end of the scene, I have my arm behind the chair and I look unhappy. So here are some visual still examples so you understand exactly what I mean. Did you notice how the picture frame started in one place and ended in another? Meaning the character started physically in one place and it was different at the end. Also emotionally, you can see the emotional change was different from beginning to end. Great. Now let's move on to the sides. The sides will give you all the information that you need to know. So it is very important to pay very close attention to all the details. I often refer to Acting 101. Which are basic acting lessons you may have heard of or will learn now. So if you haven't heard, place and circumstance. Always know where you are and what's happening to your character. This will help you decide your blocking and physical actions. The place is usually written at the top of the scene and says INT, interior, or EXT, exterior, and usually day or night. And the circumstance you will figure out by reading the action on the scene. This may be obvious to some and new info for others. Going back to the event, determining the event of the scene can often seem like a trick, meaning you'll most likely think it's earlier in the scene, but it's almost always at the end, even sometimes after the last line. So how do you figure out what the event is? Well, read the scene and see what really changes your character's overall mood or physicality. That's the event. It's usually in the form of news, or something happens to the character, or someone else in the scene. Even if a lot happens before, try to save the event to the end. Now that's not to say the other beats and moments in the scene are not important. We just need somewhere to begin and end. I coach actors every day, and I am never surprised when I point out some circumstance or physical actions which they didn't read. It's easier when it's not your audition because you can be objective. But when it is your audition, stay objective. Read everything on that page and make notes. Act as a script detective, looking for clues in the sides that reveal story, physical cues, and information about your character. Fantastic. So, remember, when reviewing your sides, really read them from beginning to end, really get very detailed, underline the physical actions and movements that tell story, and really find that event. It will be much easier to create that arc in the beginning, middle, end, and the event of the scene, and then you'll have that in place, so you can just let it all go. Great, let's move on. So now you know how to break down your sides. Don't be afraid to give it a try, and maybe hit me up for one-on-one coaching so that we can work on this. Yeah.